You're listening to episode 42 of Fresh Floppies.
Did you know that 42 is the answer to everything?
I did know that.
Yeah, I wonder what the question is. What's up to all our sidekicks and henchfolk out there on the Geek Nation? My name is Noel, and you are tuning into, as said earlier, Fresh Floppies, episode 42, on today, Wednesday, the year of our Lord, 2024. We're going to talk about comics. JD, what kind of comics are we going to talk about?
Floppies.
What's a floppy?
A floppy is a singular issue that comes out generally monthly in an ongoing saga, and...
So like a chapter?
Yeah, sure.
And it comes in a periodical form, and it's on the stands today.
Hey, shut up.
We're going to spoiler free.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
I was going to say it's spoiler free.
Well, I'll shut up now. You do it.
Okay. Hey, it's going to be spoiler free, so don't you worry your pretty little heads about it. You can go into the comic shop today, because the books came out today, and be well armed with what you may or may not want to pick up off of the shelves.
And well armed with your feelings about what you... Don't bring a bat. Yeah. Don't bring a bat
don't
or a hammer.
Don't bring a bat with nails in it.
No, don't negan it. Either way, what are you excited about today? What's the first book we're going to talk about?
We're going to talk about Ultimate Spider-Man number 2.
Never heard of it.
From Marvel Comics.
Never heard of them.
With John Hickman.
Who's that?
And Marco Cicchetto.
I don't understand.
Oh,
These are just noises coming out of your mouth.
This was awesome. This is, we'll call it floppy. No, I always do that. Fresh AF.
Floppy as fudge.
This was awesome. I really enjoyed the first issue of Ultimate Spider-Man, and this just picks up right where the last one left off. And I know you had a bit of an issue.
Oh yeah, no, it was a very minor one. It seemed like I didn't understand the last beat. I think it was mildly unnecessary. So the first issue ended with it's revealed that older Peter now has this message that says you're supposed to be a superhero. Here's all the stuff you need to do it. Go for it, homie. And then there's an extra scene in that issue of him standing on a rooftop in a black suit, or just lit from behind, so it looks just like a dark shadow. And it felt like, pacing-wise, it felt like, oh, that's from a different issue. Like, did we miss the? I don't know. It felt like the more organic end point would have been him. Okay, let's go. Like, about to do it, not necessarily, or even just getting the message and not necessarily like, I don't know. It just felt like a weird tag.
Sure.
But I mean, it's not enough for me to have remembered it until you mentioned I had a problem with it. Yeah, no, I don't give a shit that much.
Wake you up.
No, it didn't ruin the book for me. But you know what's great about this book?
A lot.
No, hang on. You know what's like overarching great about this book?
Tell me.
It seems simple. So when a writer and an artist are doing such a good job that you almost don't even notice how good it is, it's just like, oh yeah, it seems effortless.
Yes.
This book seems so goddamn effortless, and I know it's hard work. Like I don't understand it. It's just so breezy.
Yeah.
It's not light. It's just breezy.
Fun.
Like, I read through this so quickly.
Yeah.
And I was like, is something wrong? No, it's just good. Yeah, this is a great comic book, man.
It goes down smooth, as they say, right?
It coats the throat.
Yeah. Oh. So I like everything that's happening in here, man. I like that we got Peter is still figuring it out. There wasn't quite, at the end of the last issue, it seemed like that could have been months.
Or it could have been the next 2 minutes, and I just skipped a scene. That was my problem with it. Like, it seemed like it skipped a scene. It didn't indicate, like, time passed. It was just, a dude in the lights.
Should we spoil issue 1 a little bit with, like, some of the relationships that's going on?
It was a month ago.
Yeah. I love Uncle Ben and JJ.
I want to read a separate series of Ben Parker and J. Jonah Jameson, best friends, Cads About Town, starting a publisher.
Yeah.
Or a publication.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I like
will
their
read
scenes together.
A novel of that. Just give me that too.
And the interact. Oh, well, in this one, there's an interaction with a supervillain that we have seen before in other media. That was just delightful. I had a blast with that.
An ultimate first appearance.
Yeah, it was awesome. So this is fresh AF for me. This was great.
Yeah, you get some more interactions with his kids. This is a good book. This is a really fun book. I have to remember those first 6 or 7 issues of Ultimate Spider-Man 2000. He wasn't in costume until issue 8.
Yeah.
They really kind of set up Ordinary World and did all the work, and this does feel like it's doing that just in a different way. He doesn't have his normal colors. He doesn't have it figured out in the Peter Parker way. It's just we're taking our time with all of these in relationships. So I'm excited.
Yeah, this is wonderful.
This is a really good book.
Highly recommend.
Doesn't suck.
It's true. You know what else doesn't suck, Noel?
Are we going to talk about Fire, Space, Power by Robert Kirkman and Chris Samnee?
That's the one.
Is it over today?
Issue 30 is the end of it. So I have been sort of needling my way through this series as it's been coming out. I'll just grab a trade paperback and catch up a little bit. It's always a very breezy read. Again, very easy. It seems effortless. And then I heard that this was going to be the last issue, and it is a double size, perfect bound.
I think in the back they said it was 52 pages.
And I was about, I would say, 2 whole trade paperbacks behind when I heard this was coming last week. And then in about 2 days, I caught up.
Let me peek behind the curtain.
Yeah.
JD has a very busy life. Runs a shop, a toddler, all kinds of things. When you told me 4 or 5 days ago, I think I want to catch up on Firepower to read the finale.
Give your balls a tug.
Give your balls a tug. I presumed you would have read nothing else this week.
Yeah.
And we're just going to talk about Firepower.
And still be like, oh, I didn't read the last
Yeah, I didn't get to the end of Firepower.
Yeah.
But the fact that you finished all of it and read all the other stuff, tell me how you liked this book.
Holy cats, man. What an absolute delight. This is just an absolute fun romp of a book that has kung fu.
We took Iron Fist, we took The Incredibles, we took
the Avatar Last Airbender,
and just put it in a blender and splashed the blender against a white wall or a canvas, and it's this book.
This is okay. Not everyone is a fan of Quentin Tarantino. I like Quentin Tarantino. He does not have a lot of original things.
Nope.
In the way that Mark Miller, in a very different way, just does stuff that's been done before. Very easily labeled things are put together and then blended together.
What if this spy was a robot and then it's Mark Miller?
This
he's
is
a masher.
similar. This is everything we've seen before. But done so well and such a fun time, and it's a family book too. What did you think?
I've been loving on this shit since Jump. It is you pretty much said it all. It's not unlike Ultimate Spider-Man. It's a masterclass in effortlessness. And I believe that they write it or create the book in the old school Marvel style. Chris Samnee is a complete co-creator, not script to they sit, outline, talk about it. He literally pencils some shit, and then Kirkman comes in and helps with dialogue and puts dialogue in. It is a fully collaborative effort.
Right. I don't. That sounds almost like kind of making it up as they go, but they definitely had everything mapped out ahead of time.
Yeah.
Reading the back matter.
Yeah.
This wasn't just let's just sign them.
More so the creation of the creation of a lot of modern comic or just comics in general is a lot of handoffs.
Yeah.
This was not done with handoffs of here's the script when you get pages in. It was very much collaborative the whole time, and it does feel like that too because most of this book is an exercise in a writer showing restraint because I don't want to dick ride for Kirkman, but I think a lesser or less experienced writer would squeeze in dialogue and squeeze in narration, whereas this book has the confidence to just let the art talk, just let the scene progression talk, just let the panel layouts talk. It's a breezy read, but there is so much happening on these pages that if somebody if somebody were to say something derogatory in that along those lines of it being breezy or light or there was nothing there, they think maybe they're doing comics wrong.
Yeah.
They're enjoying comics wrong. No, this was awesome. If I know a lot of people have been waiting on trade or only reading this in trade. Oof, oof, magoof. This book is awesome.
Yeah, highly recommend. And they even started strong, man. One of my favorite things about Kirkman is that he has fun with the medium. He has fun with how things are released with retailers. This Firepower first issue was a trade paperback.
Yeah, I think it's labeled just Firepower Prelude.
Prelude, yep.
And it is
originally it was the trade paperback was just labeled 0. Yeah. It was a 0 numbered trade. But yeah, now it's called Prelude, and that's just the first issue that they dropped is an entire trade paperback. And then there was a Free Comic Book Day free book that went along with it. And then there was Firepower #1, which takes place 15 years after the events of Firepower Prelude, which sets up a whole different dynamic for the character. And I was just like, this is awesome. This is how comics should be. And how great that it's only 30 issues. I like that there's a beginning, middle, and it's finite. This isn't, as a retailer, this isn't a huge, hefty sell to people. I can just be like, listen, it's like, 5-6 trades and you're done. As opposed to like, hey, you should check out Spawn, which has 300 issues. You know what I mean?
I think it's 7 trades technically, Prelude, and then 1 through 6. Because they add in the back of this, they actually advertise the final trade. And then there's going to be 2 hardcovers.
Yes.
The first hardcover is the Prelude OGN and the first 12 issues. So it's about 18 issues worth. Yeah. And then I'm assuming the next one's going to be the rest, which is like issues 13 through 30.
Do you think it'll be traded? Oh, well, it doesn't matter. I'm going to buy the hardcovers.
Traded what?
I was going to say, don't you think it would be like two more hardcovers? That seems like a lot of book to put in one.
No, I think it's probably the same
like
page count because
size.
like it was an OGN, so like basically 6 issues, 5 to 6 issues, a 0 issue, and then another 12 to 13. That's like 18 issues. So I do think it's going to get chunked out in 2.
Yeah. Math is a mystery.
Even though this is a little oversized, I really don't think that it's enough to destroy like the paradigm where it's going to be a super chunky boy.
Presentation off the charts.
Everything,
so good. I love that this is
Who's
perfect
it? What is
bound.
that? Cliff Chang?
I've got a Cliff Chang cover.
I've got the Somni cover. Everyone should read. Everyone should read Firepower.
Yeah, man.
This book is fantastic. Another book that I did want to talk about really quickly that you didn't get a chance to read was Zorro, Man of the Dead, written and drawn by Sean Gordon Murphy. To those of us that
2
is issue 2. What's your relationship to Zorro?
Well, I know that Bruce Wayne and his family
got murdered by Zorro.
Went and saw Zorro, and then I don't know, something happened. I don't remember what it was. Something about, I guess they went and bought pearls. I don't know. Some pearls were involved somehow.
They bought pearls. They were delivered in a popcorn bucket.
Yeah.
And then they tossed them on the street. She slipped.
And they both died. Yeah.
She slipped, broke her neck, and then the father, what was his first name? Thomas? Yeah, Thomas Wayne, died of shock because he was just like, all those pearls and my wife. Yeah.
And then I know that there was the Antonio Banderas blockbuster hit about 20 years ago.
Such a great movie.
I haven't watched it since the theater. I remember loving it.
I watched it when I was sick.
That's my
recently,
Zorro.
And it was like cool.
That's all I have about Zorro.
So that's basically my Zorro too. Oh. Like it's a vigilante in Mexico. So this book is modern day.
Oh.
Is a modern day retelling of Zorro. So
is it the first Zorro, or is it a long lineage?
There is
of Zorro?
a legend lineage of Zorro.
Thank you.
So the very first issue of this book, minor spoilers just to kind of pitch you on the book. The very first issue, were maybe 20 years in the past, and this small town, this small village town in Mexico that is in the middle of cartel spaces, or like cartel land, but they are, basically air quotes protected, and the cartel leaves them alone, and they leave the cartel alone as long as they're okay with like some things going in and out. Poor little town. Sure. They celebrate Zorro once a year. Local actors come and do the Zorro thing, and then like they love Zorro.
The 3 amigos show up.
Yeah, sure. That's it's branded all together. Yeah. The town favorite son of the town is playing Zorro. He has 2 little kids. the main bad guy shows up and was just like, why are we celebrating all this Zorro crap? He's like, well, the townspeople love it. The father or the priest in the town was like, the townspeople love it. It inspires them and blah, blah, blah. And he just literally shoots the actor in the face in front of his kids. And he's just like, I don't need them, worshiping a dissident, a vigilante. So this ends now.
That makes sense.
The daughter,
for that guy.
20 years later, the daughter is now working as a courier for the cartel. Her brother, who was idolized Zorro and his father and dressed up as Zorro and stuff, went into a bit of a catatonic state, stopped talking, and was being raised on a ranch outside of town by a local rich person, dignitary, just nice guy, who believes in Zorro. So for the last 20 years, he's been secretly training this kid as Zorro, and the daughter, who doesn't talk to her brother anymore, just keeps him protected far away. Shit goes down. The kid is kind of activated. He remembers who his sister is. He remembers what happens, but he delusionally does believe that he is Diego of the lineage of Zorro. Yeah. And in this issue, he shows up in the town, and all of these townspeople who are about to get killed are like, Zorro, let's go. Yeah. And it becomes just this big, modern fighting the cartels. Huh. It is an adorable book.
Yeah?
Well, it's very violent. It's very violent. It's action-oriented, but it is... there's an earnestness to it. It's very sweet. I mean, Zorro has a pet fox named Bandito, and he walks around with his fox.
I used to be... that's adorable.
This
is
such an adorable book.
Oh, my God.
I
want that fox.
And then, Sean Murphy is phenomenal with action. There is an action scene here where Zorro is jumping from car to car via horse and taking out the drivers, and it's just this is just paced so fucking well. This is a fun book. I liked it a lot.
I started off a huge Sean Murphy fan. Mm-hmm. He was doing a thing with artists where he would have an artist camp. People would come and stay with him, and he would give artist lessons and everything, and I was desperate to join that. I think it wound up getting shut down. Shut down.
Sounds like a cult.
But then just over the years, I loved his White Knight, and then I still haven't made it through Curse of the White Knight because that is a long, lengthy, and it just feels, the pacing you just mentioned feels drawn out way too long. I just kind of got bored halfway through. And then I was so excited to back his Kickstarter, which was
Plot Holes.
Plot Holes.
Yeah, we backed it.
And I got halfway through. I got through the first issue, and I was like, oh, that's fine. So
I genuinely did not like that book.
Okay, great. So you're kind of along the same lines here.
Yeah.
But this is a good.
Yeah,
Murphy
this is disciplined.
Yeah.
This book is disciplined. It's and I think it's only 4 issues or 5 issues. It is going to be tight, disciplined, and it's very well done. Also, to the aesthetic of the book, deep into Mexico, it is a sepia-toned, sandy, dusty, kind of warm look to it, which just complements his aesthetic very, very well.
I remain a huge fan of his artwork. I would call him a master in the comic book realm. Man, he is just awesome.
It's a good. It's leagues better because I had trouble finishing Plot Holes. I actually don't even remember if I finished it. It was like an excuse to draw a bunch of different things with no cohesive plot that really kind of grabbed you in between it all. It was okay, cool.
But you know what? I'm gonna jump on. I'm gonna grab Zorro, Man of the Dead 1, and I'm gonna jump back on. Oh, this is from Massive. This is a publisher I'm not familiar with.
Aren't they just the Whatnot publisher, or aren't they the same thing as? Either way, he kickstarted this book himself.
Oh.
And part of the Kickstarter was that it was going to be released in shops first, and then the Kickstarter is only for special collected editions afterwards.
Dope.
I'm still not sure how I feel. He could have gotten this published. Actually, I think he purchased the comic book rights to Zorro himself too.
That sounds familiar. I think that sounds right.
He could have gotten this published via Image the normal way, but he kickstarted it to, I guess, hedge his bets.
Man,
I'm sure.
If you have a big enough following, kickstarting seems to be the way to go because you make a ton of extra bank.
I'm just not excited about it cutting out local comic shops.
No, same.
However, so when I saw it and I was like, oh, I really want to read that, I will order it.
See, the thing that disappointed me about Plot Holes is that I did Kickstart it thinking it was Kickstarter only, and then
came out as
like
issues.
a year later or whatever.
Years.
Was it years?
Yeah, it took a while. It was like 2 years later.
Oh, but at least it came to shops.
Here's the thing.
Tell me the thing.
We still had a copy of Plot Holes, the graphic novel, and the art prints that you Kickstarted on the shelf.
Yeah.
I had a guest come in asking to sub the Plot Holes story.
Oh, yeah.
And I literally was just like, the whole thing is right there on the shelf for $40 if you want to just take that. He was like, oh, okay.
That's cool.
Like, yeah, man. Like,
that
it
was
just
sitting there
seemed
for a
like a
long
very
time.
weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. This book is fun. Zorro, Man of the Dead, issue number 2. Sean Gordon
And
Murphy.
you know what?
This is a good one.
I'm going to go. Is that streaming anywhere?
Zorro?
The original. The Antonio Banderas?
Somewhere. Yeah, I think I watched it streaming.
I wanna
don't
stream
remember
that,
where.
man. I'm gonna
Maybe
watch
like on
that today
Prime
at
or
the
Hulu.
shop.
It's a fun flick.
I remember.
Yeah.
Was that also
Anthony Hopkins being
the
Mexican?
previous Zorro? And then who's the woman?
Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Oh, it's Zeta-Jones. I was thinking Tarantino Champagne Foot.
No. Salma Hayek.
Salma Hayek,
Yeah.
thank you.
No.
Batman 144 came out this week, and this is listen, hey Noel, the Joker Year 1 Part 3. Is this a 4-parter?
Nope.
Or is this the end of it?
The end.
Okay, in my brain I had it as a 4-parter.
Yeah, it was like a 3-week thing.
Okay.
A middle arc.
Oh, how fresh was Zorro? We didn't say.
Very fresh.
Okay.
Very fresh. It was
I'm going to
wonderful
say
book.
this is, at the end of it, barely fresh for me. This this Joker Year 1 3-issue story.
It's about the Jokers you met along the way.
This was okay. I felt nothing at the end of this. I was not emotionally attached to anything that was going on, other than being like, hey, good for you, Gordon. And you know what? There was a neat revelation about the abilities of the Joker all this time and his relationship to Batman solving his crimes. I thought that's neat. That's pretty cool.
Wait.
But I don't want to spoil it.
You mean the stuff that happens in the future?
Yes.
Huh?
The thing that Batman discovers or doesn't discover leads him to question his entire relationship with how he has solved the Joker's, not riddles, what would you call them? The schemes, right? How he's taking down the Joker. I don't want to spoil it. We'll talk about it after the mics are off. But this was barely...
genuinely have no idea what you're
That's
talking
okay.
about, but all right.
I'll fill you in. What were your thoughts on...
My thoughts were... this is Ben Affleck in the future,
Yeah.
but only in one page, and then different photo references are used for other pages. I mean, if we're gonna take swipes and do whatever with them for comic book art, just be consistent with your models.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm feeling.
So what Noel was talking about is there are two
artists.
timelines.
Yeah, who wrote and drew this?
Oh, that's a good question. Chip Zdarsky.
With dual art by Giuseppe Camuncoli and Andrea Sorrentino. Giuseppe Camuncoli is doing the, I want to say, in the past stuff, like year 1.5 or year 0.5.
Yeah.
And then just Andrea Sorrentino is doing a future story.
Yeah.
And they have very, very, very different styles.
Yeah.
And Giuseppe Camuncoli, Andrea Sorrentino has very much a swiping photo references and working with those for his style. To me,
tracing photo references. Yeah.
He manipulates them and does enough to it's an effort.
Sure.
It's fine.
Oh,
it's
sure,
work.
Sure. Yeah. He puts in work. Yeah.
It's work. But to me, it always feels stilted.
Yeah.
And probably the biggest thing that will rip me out of it is if your photo references change scene to scene.
Yep.
So at one point it's Christian Bale, the other point it's literally Ben Affleck.
Yep.
Even the suit is different.
Yep.
So I'm like, I could have done without this entire plot.
Yeah, man. Unless, and I won't know because I'm not reading Chip Zdarsky's Batman, but unless it ties back in somehow to the overarching story of Chip Zdarsky's run, that felt absolutely useless, the future stuff. Now, the stuff by Giuseppe Camuncoli was great.
Dude, there is a Officer Gordon scene at the end, towards the back half of this book that I pumped my fucking fist.
Yeah.
This dude is cool. He's awesome. He's a hero.
Yeah.
Are we talking about the same scene?
Yeah.
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 So good.
Yeah.
So effing
It was
good. I was just
wonderful.
like, why can't this be the book? Or this story that I'm enjoying keeps getting interrupted by this future stuff that I just can't
Yeah.
I can't hang my hat on. I don't care.
It feels like, and I don't want to, I hate to do stuff like this, but it did feel to me like he was trying to emulate in certain ways Tom King's Bat and the Cat kind of storytelling. And I just don't think that this hit those marks in the same way.
I don't think that this story warranted that.
Yeah, no. It's called Joker Year 1. Why are you giving us Joker Year 30?
Yeah.
Also.
Or whatever
There's
it is.
no reason to bookend it because it's not like that future story closed any chapters.
No.
It was just another thing that the Joker was up to in the future.
Yeah.
It wasn't Joker the end, you know? So, I don't know. This really kind of disappointed me.
I want more Giuseppe Camuncoli.
He's great.
I want less muddy future stories.
I wish Camuncoli was back on Hellblazer with Cy Spurrier. The art on Cy Spurrier is way more Andrea Sorrentino than it is Giuseppe Camuncoli.
For the current Hellblazer? When was Camuncoli doing the Hellblazer with him?
Oh, he wrapped up the whole last, I don't know how many issues. He was the like.
Oh, you're talking about years ago.
Yes.
You said Cy Spurrier, so I assumed it was the last series he was on. I'm like, no, he wasn't.
No, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Let me say that again. I wish they had gotten Giuseppe Camuncoli back on Hellblazer when Cy Spurrier took it over. Because the art in that
confused me.
is way more Sorrentino than it is Camuncoli.
So this is barely fresh. You said barely fresh.
Barely.
I'm gonna go fresh enough, only because I had been reading a little bit more of the Zdarsky stuff, and it's fresh enough because I genuinely did like the story beats that were revealed in this 3-issue series in general.
Okay.
The stuff that they did with the Joker in
right.
the recent past.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I really loved those, and I can't wait to see those kind of pay off later. It's just all of the muck treading through to get to that like kernel of the story.
Yeah.
Like all of that other stuff was like okay. But like what they did with the Joker in this book, I dare I say was creative?
Yeah.
Like genuinely original.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And was seeded by Chip Zdarsky in The Night.
Yeah, like it's original and it's not something I've seen done with the Joker before.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was very cool.
Animal Pound, number 2.
Your favorite book of the week?
Tom King, Peter Gross, and Tamara Bonvillain. This I was told that this was sort of Animal Farm.
Yep.
A retelling of Animal Farm.
Yep.
And this is Cats and Dogs and Rabbits. This is another one that I had to catch up on. And I read 2 trade paperbacks of Firepower, and then the first issue of Animal Pound, and I believe Animal Pound had more words in one issue than Firepower did in 2 trades. And basically we have the rabbits and the cats and the dogs in an actual one location, 1 pound, and they figure out and plan a takeover of the pound. And now this issue is basically trying to figure out how to govern themselves when dogs just kind of want to eat everybody.
So it's
This is animal politics.
basically.
Right?
Yeah, the first issue was coming together, setting aside differences to overthrow common oppressors, and this issue is now what, and having to kind of in any at least the semblance of fairness in regards to who makes decisions for the entire pound, because if they don't figure something out, it's just either going to become a bloodbath and or when their oppressors come back, because they're assuming the oppressors will come back, because come on, dogs and cats taking over a pound, they're coming back. Yeah, it'll make the news. The conceit was like, if we don't figure this out by the time they come back, you're all just going to lift up your bellies to them. Yeah, like and I thought what was really interesting about this book is dogs overpower and outweigh the other animals, but cats outnumber, and rabbits can sway. So this whole book is like an exercise in dynamics on how to actually govern with demographics and populations for a common goal.
Yeah.
It is not a breezy read.
No.
It is not a fun, air quotes, fun read, but I did kind of love it. Yeah, I really, really enjoy. Like Tom King, I feel like he's at this point in his career where he's writing stories he wants to read, not necessarily what he thinks other people will enjoy. And this is very much an example of that.
I agree with everything you've said, except I don't know if I care enough about this particular story or these characters to continue.
Did you ever read Animal Farm?
Maybe in high school. Or maybe I read the Cliff Notes. Honestly, I have no memory of it.
It's
how close to that is this?
I mean, plot wise, it's just similar in regards to like how it's set up, but
instead of like a farm.
But the tone in which it's told is very, very similar. Like it is a lot of orating. It is a lot of very articulate conversations about dynamics and organizations. Like it's not. This is like not for kids.
No.
Not because of violence, but just because like it's a relatively complex, mature book.
Yeah, it is.
And I mean, I think when this is all done and collected, I actually think this is going to be one of those things that's going to win awards, but also like this is the kind of thing you give to somebody who shuns their face at the childishness of comics. It's like it's a lot more than you'd think.
Yeah.
Like this is I like this book a lot, but I would not recommend it to everyone.
I literally had a guy in here yesterday who was looking for. I was like, "What kind of genre do you like?" And he was like, "Books." I was like, that's not a genre. That's a medium.
About it?
And he's like, I like literature. And I was like, oh sure, okay. So I was trying to find. We had a graphic novel of Slaughterhouse 5. If this was in a collection, I would have handed this to him. It's not a bad book by any means. I just on a stack of to read that I have, it is low on the pile.
Fair enough.
You know what I mean? But there are glimpses of really fun character work in here, and the way the dynamics of this population.
Let's talk about
interact.
Peter Gross's art. Like the only Peter Gross that I've read is like half of Lucifer, and the Mark Miller book he did, the American Jesus stuff.
Oh, that was him.
This is better than all of it. He gives all of these. First of all, animals are not easy to draw.
No.
But he gives them all faces that are distinct from each other. Like, there are 3 main cats, and 2 of them have similar coats. Yeah. I know exactly who's talking.
Yeah.
Like, this is... Yeah. And Tom King also plays with the tropes or the assumptions or stereotypes of dogs and cats too. There's a contingent of younger cats that are just like, I think we should make more play and then everyone be happy. And they're adorable. And then there's others that are like, I could rip your stomach apart.
Yeah.
Like, this is I like this book a lot. I think it's pretty damn fresh, but I would also not recommend it to everyone.
Right. Yeah. It did feel like I was back in school doing homework to catch up on this, which isn't bad. That's not a negative.
I was in this place I hated with a deadline, but I loved it.
And I kept getting. My wife would come over and bully me just to give me the full effect. She push me into lockers.
I didn't understand why I was sweating.
Why did she buy lockers? Just to push me in them? Anyway.
Worth it.
Cobra Commander #2 from Image Comics by Joshua Williamson, Andrea Milana, and Annalisa Leone. What did you think?
This book is light as shit.
It is light. Yeah.
I
needed more.
I was gonna say the Duke book I feel is moving. The first issue of this was like, okay. And this issue was like,
okay,
nothing happened. Just some people did some stuff in one location. Like this felt like a plot beat spread out 20 issues. A single plot beat spread out 20 pages. Sorry.
I was gonna say
20 issues of nothing. No, it's just it felt. So we were talking about Firepower, how it feels like a breezy read.
Yeah.
This was also a breezy read, but with Firepower, even though it's a breezy read, it feels like a meal.
Yeah.
This felt like an amuse-bouche. And, okay.
I definitely liked it more than you did.
Yeah.
By the time I got to the end of it, I was like, oh, we're done?
Yeah.
But as a G.I. Joe fan, seeing the interactions of these characters that I already have experience. So
I didn't know who any of these people were.
Right. So it's not a spoiler to say the Dreadnoks show up because first of all they show up at the end and then they are literally on the cover. I was delighted to see the Dreadnoks, and I used to have the toy of their big car.
Are they just hillbilly murderers?
Yeah.
Okay.
With hillbilly murderers in the what is it called? Swamp Thing.
Bayou.
The Bayou with British accents. They all have British accents.
As you do.
Like Cockney British accents for some reason.
Obviously.
Watching the interactions between the Dreadnoks and then Z names show up. Most of them have Z names, so that's not a spoiler. Certain characters show up. I was delighted by. But I already have all of the back history for this that you don't.
This didn't do shit for me.
So you're just like, all right, who are these dudes? Why do we care about this? Whereas I was like, ooh, get them.
I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying all of the Energon Universe books.
Yeah.
But up until now, I haven't needed the breadth of history or member berries to take me through a story. This is the first issue out of all of them so far. It's been like, no, okay.
Yeah.
So why does this matter?
Right.
Yeah. So
I do agree that this is probably my, I don't want to say least favorite because I actively love the whole universe right now.
Least favorite $1 million
right.
is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not.
Duke is a better book.
Yeah, 100%.
I love Duke. And Cobra Commander is just more like, this is fun. This is cute, fun. I like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I wish it was just more nihilistic or like pick a lane, I guess, or just like be more of one thing and not just like kind of loosely a bunch of things. If you're just going to do full member berries, fucking roll with it. Yeah. Not this, like he sets up, in the first issue, he sets up a completely different paradigm in regards to what Cobra even is, where it exists, how it functions. And that's not touched on at all in this issue. It's just a whole side story with characters that weren't introduced to me.
Yeah.
And I should know. Like, give me something meaty. This was just kind of like, again, it was like one plot beat, but spread out over the whole issue, and it felt light.
Okay, that's valid. I also felt it light, but I was like, this is nice. I like
fresh enough.
What's above fresh enough?
Fresh.
It's fresh. It is fresh.
Oh wait,
for me, fresh.
Pretty fresh. Is pretty fresh less than fresh or more than fresh?
Fresh, pretty fresh. Right?
No, pretty fresh would be lower.
Pretty fresh.
So fresh enough is like I didn't hate it. Pretty fresh is I almost really liked it. Fresh is I liked it.
Okay.
And then fresh as fuck is holy crap, this is the best.
Yeah.
So,
man, I've been doing fresh and then pretty fresh.
Well, I mean, just like when a prosecutor is found out to be fraudulent, even all of the cases that they tried in the past are relitigated. So
we got to go back and redo every episode,
or just every single opinion that has ever been shared by JD on this podcast.
Don't trust it.
Is now moot.
Yeah.
This is over.
Yeah.
Anything else you're interested in this week?
I didn't even think about that. Oh, yeah, of course. Hellblazer, like I said earlier. Dead in America, I think it's called. I'm looking forward to that. I'm actually looking at the shelf right now. There's a new issue of G.I. Joe, which continues the Larry Hama run. Hey, Noel, did you know that Nightwing is coming to an end?
I mean, the book's not coming to an end. Tom Taylor is wrapping up his run.
Yeah, that means the same thing to me.
But it's going to be a while.
Is it a while?
Well, I mean, he's got, like, his last arc doesn't start until, like, May.
Okay.
So it's...
I had no information. Someone had mentioned that it was ending, and I was like, wait, I'm sorry, what?
It
was a tweet.
In the May solicitations is the beginning of the end. So it's something like Fallen Grayson.
That's
in the current books, something's happening where he's afraid to jump. He's afraid to leap.
Oh, that's his whole thing.
Yeah.
He loves leaping.
So, yeah.
He's a leaper.
So I think it's just kind of like it's leading up to that, like, you know,
okay,
how to find his groove again, and then all the Heartless stuff is going to get wrapped up. But yeah, it starts with issue 114. So I think they're basically setting it up to where issue 120 is probably going to be a restart or a new creative team or something.
Great.
I'm willing to let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Let's hope it's not like Scott Lobdell and Jim Lee or something.
Yeah. Or
I said it, Jim Lee. I don't care for that.
Jim Lee's not bad.
I don't care for that aesthetic. Sorry.
Andrea Sorrentino.
Yeah.
Diodato.
Oh.
Greg Land.
Oh.
Greg Horn.
These are all of my favorite professional artists.
All right. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Come join us tonight when we go live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch.
We're going to talk about one of the coolest movies that's ever existed.
Oh, my God. Madam Web's going to come up.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks so much for hanging out with us, and we'll talk at you later.
Doo-doo-doo. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the CultPop Network, home to podcasts, live shows, and a whole lot of fun stuff for every flavor of fan. Follow us wherever you find your favorite podcasts, and be sure to join us live every Wednesday night at youtube.com/CultPopGo at 8 p.m. Eastern. While you're there, be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you'll know when we drop new Thunder Rounds and episodes of Fresh Floppies, a spoiler-free show about single-issue comics released each week. Until then, we'll talk at you later.